Okay, Trig Ratios, day 2, video number 2. So, if you were looking closely at the last example, you would have noticed that in order to find the angle, we had to undo the trig function with its inverse function. Okay, and I mentioned something about this in the last video, but this is exactly like undoing addition with subtraction. Addition and subtraction are inverse operations, so they undo each other. Or undoing multiplication with division. Again, multiplication and division are inverse operations, so they undo each other. So video number 2 here, we want to determine the measure of the indicated angle and round to the nearest degree. So here's our question mark. Usually I'll just replace that question mark with an X. So we want to find angle X. I'm going to label the sides of my triangle with O, A, and H. So start with the hypotenuse. Here's my hypotenuse. The side next to my angle, but not the hypotenuse, is my adjacent side. And the side across from my angle is my opposite side. So we've got all three angles here. It really doesn't matter which trig function we use. So again, we've got so, ka, to. Just for fun, I'm going to actually solve this problem 2 different ways. So first I'm going to use the sine. So I know that the sine of x is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So my opposite side is 48, and my hypotenuse is 73. So if I want to solve for the x, I have to undo the sine. So I'm going to do the sine inverse of both sides. Sine inverse of the sine of x is equal to the sine inverse of 48 over 73. Right? So plug that into our calculator. We've got sine inverse. I'm plugging it into my calculator as I speak, and that gives us, to the nearest degree, 41 degrees. Okay, so technically, since I'm given all 3 sides, I can use any one of my 3 trig functions. It should work if I use one of my other trig functions. So let's try this again, and let's try it with the cosine. So I know that the cosine of x, that would be my adjacent over the hypotenuse. So my adjacent side over here is 55. So that's 55. My hypotenuse is 73. So jumping down over to here, I'm going to take the cosine inverse of both sides, cosine inverse of the cosine of x, and the cosine inverse of 55 over 73. So these cancel out, and I'm left with x is equal to, and again, plug that into your calculator, to the nearest degree, you get 41 degrees. So if you're given all 3 sides, really you can pick any one of these 3. If I did this again using the tangent ratio, I would get 41 degrees again. So given 3 sides, you pick the trig ratio.